Good morning, Internet. For those of you in Utah, on your social medias, you've probably seen pop up headlines from different news outlets saying that enough signatures have now been collected and House Bill 267 has been stopped or paused by Lieutenant Governor. Thank heavens. Thank heavens. We're just at the beginning of this, so that is a big step, a necessary step. But now this issue is going to go to the ballot for the public to vote on. And that's the next piece, and it's really important. And that's why I'm making my video. So it's going to go to public vote, and the citizens will decide whether or not to overturn this. So I want to talk a little bit about what is going on in the headlines. The headlines are saying that this is a collective bargaining issue. That's a piece of it. That's actually really one of the smallest pieces of House Bill 267. I want to talk a little bit about unions and why they're important. And this is not political. This is not a right versus left or a left versus right. Unions are good for everyone. I'm going to tell you why. All right. I was on the executive board of our union for a while. And so I have firsthand knowledge of what the work that a union does. In our fire department, we have about 500 employees. And if an employee needed to be corrected or disciplined, and they were a union member, then they would request that union representation. Now, the job of the union is not to defend bad behavior. The job of the union is to protect the process in which an employee is corrected or disciplined, and that can include termination. But we need to make sure that the organizational policies are being followed and they're consistent to protect employees from personal vendettas or retribution. And that's the work that unions do. Now, with House Bill 267, the way that it's written and the way it's being pitched by the politicians who were dishonest, they intentionally misled the other legislators, and they intentionally misleading the public and the news outlets. All right? They're saying this is just about money and it's just about collective bargaining. It's not. The things that are written in that bill would prevent unions, a union representative from then representing an employee with the administration on company property if you're a public employee, or on public property, right? So now, if I was representing someone, and again, making sure I'm holding the organization and administration accountable, not just the employee, we have to coordinate with administration, and we can't meet on site. That is not a small obstacle. That's a big obstacle. And what that does is that prevents a collaborative working relationship with administration. It becomes so difficult and labor intensive on both sides that it intentionally causes friction in a situation that is already difficult, not good. It also talks about payroll deduction. House Bill 267 would eliminate the ability for union members to pay union dues through payroll deduction. That's a big deal. Right now, my union dues are automatically deducted and transferred to the union treasurer, and then that money is deposited into an account where it is supervised by the executive board. And there's a lot of transparency there. Taking away direct withdrawal is a big deal. I was union treasurer for a while, and if I had to collect union dues each month personally and go around and collect 350 or 450 union members' dues, I wouldn't have time for anything else. That is all I would be able to do. I would not be able to advocate for them. I would not be able to meet with them. I would not be able to have meetings with the various stakeholders in an organization to make sure that everyone is doing a good job and everyone is being transparent. The intent of 267 is to kill unions. It is. And if we kill it here in Utah, then we can kill it in other places. So we're kind of on the front lines here. So it's a big deal. I want to talk a little bit about the working middle class, because that's what I am. I got nothing against capitalism. For those of you that are doctors, surgeons, businessmen, real estate moguls, whatever, good for you. Like, honestly, good for you. You won capitalism. I'm really happy for you. For me, I chose calling over career. I wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to serve the public. And I knew that by doing that, I was going to have less. I was never going to have the big house on the hill. And that's fine. But this is what I do need. I need a car that starts every morning. I need to know that if I budget my money carefully, that I can take my kids to Disneyland or Yellowstone. that I can take my boys on a desert trip down to Moab and we can ride motorcycles and shoot guns, right? That's what I need as a middle-class employee. And the union has helped negotiate wages to help me stay middle class. And that took a while. As a new firefighters right now in Utah, their starting salary is roughly $55,000 a year. What is the median home price in Utah? $500,000? How is a new firefighter going to even be able to afford to live in the area that they're working and serving? Right now, they can't. They're living in parents' basements, or they have multiple roommates. They're not buying homes. They simply can't. We need to protect those wages. We need to protect the middle class. And in the public sector, the middle class is firefighters, cops, and teachers. We start out right now at about 55, and most of us, we have a step plan that take 10 or 12 years to get to the top of, and then you're making a solid upper middle class wage, and we're earning every dime. We're earning every dime of that money. And now, as a topped out public employee, if I'm careful with my money, I can buy a reasonable used car that I know is going to start every morning. I can take my boys to the desert and we can ride affordable used motorcycles and shoot guns and have a really good time. But if not for the union and not for a middle class wage, I couldn't do that. In the private sector here in Utah, we had a couple of other unions climb on board with the effort to collect signatures. It wasn't just public employees. We had the Iron Workers Union. We had other skilled trades that are private sector. Isn't that interesting? Why do you think that they signed on? This doesn't threaten them. It doesn't threaten them, or so they say, but they see the writing on the wall. If you get rid of unions in the public sector, then the private sector is next. And we need to protect the middle class. If you're upper and you're making a ton of money, good for you. You want capitalism. But here's the thing. If you're working 40 hours a week, no matter the nature of the work, if you work 40 hours a week, you should be able to afford a car that is reasonable and that starts every morning. You should be able to save your money and plan for a really fun vacation for your family. And ideally, you should be able to save a little bit of money and help your kids if they choose to go to college. And if we don't have a thriving middle class, that goes away. We become a country of haves and have-nots. And there's already quite a separation there that's been happening over the past roughly 35, 40 years, where the division between the have and have-nots has gotten greater. And the middle class is just shrinking. We can't become a country of haves and have-nots. That's not good for us. So this is what I'm asking my friends and the people that are on my social media right now. If you see this, liking it's cool, but we need to spread the message. So share it and share it to the news organizations. The news organizations need to change their headlines. House Bill 267 is not about collective bargaining. That's just a small piece of it. House Bill 267 and defeating House Bill 67 is about protecting and building a robust middle class. That's what this issue is about. And that's why me, as a firefighter at almost the end of my career, whatever happens, truthfully, won't affect me too much because I'm at the end of my career. But for my kids or my grandkids or the friends of my kids and my grandkids, this is a big deal because not everyone is going to be a surgeon. Not everyone is going to be a lawyer. Not everyone is going to be a business person or a real estate mogul or a tech mogul or whatever it is. There are going to be people that do it. But most of us are not going to be wealthy. Most of us can aspire to be upper middle class and should be. There is enough money in this country. There's enough money to go around that the millionaires and the billionaires can still be millionaires and billionaires. But the rest of us, skilled labor, public servants, the rest of us should be able to aspire to an upper middle class or middle class lifestyle where if we're careful with our money, the opportunities, we can still provide opportunities for our children. That's what House Bill is 267. So please, if you are watching this, spread it. That's the message we have to get out so that when this issue comes to ballot and the public are going to vote on it, they're not misdirected where, well, this is just about collective bargaining. No, it's not. This bill and defeating this bill is about a robust middle class. And that's what we need. That's what's going to make America great again, is a robust middle class. Whether you're right, left, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, That's how we make America great again, is a robust middle class. And don't let anyone tell you different. They're either ignorant or they're lying to you.